getting fired because your workplace's family has suddenly imploded. A recent update to the woman whose neighbor made a catfish of her own husband. A young man who learns the truth which leaves more questions than answers. And another young lad who rolled a natural 1 in flirting. Hello, my snacks. My name's Jack. Welcome back. We've got some... Oh boy, there's some tea in this first one. Let's get started. We start in r/Nanny. Yeah, strangely, a lot of dramatic stories coming out of it lately, where a woman got fired for following instructions. And considering less than a day later they posted these bold text of updates, yeah. I hope that pot near you has gotten boiled because you're about to sip on some heavy hot tea. Starting from the beginning, I part-time nanny for 2 families. One family, the main, treats me with such respect, and we have always had such communication. Since the cost of living is so high, I decided to accept another part-time job a few months ago. I was making 8 MOG formula, and I did what I normally do, and have no complaints. Suddenly, Mother Boss is in the kitchen with me and sees me making it, and just starts yelling at me for doing it wrong. She says, "No, no, no! It's formula powder first, then water! Are you stupid?" I calmly replied, "Ma'am, I am just following the directions on the can of formula. It says to do the water, then powder." Now, I won't repeat what she said to me on here, because it was so out of line, I didn't even have the words to reply. But she said essentially, "If you can't follow directions, then just leave. I'll pay you for the week, but this is not working." I cried all the way home, and am still teary. I love that little baby girl so much, but I hope after all this, the Mother Boss finds a fit much more to her liking than I was. Happy Monday. And that was it at first. Just that little short moment, that terrible experience with a terribly snappy woman. But apparently, this wasn't the last little communication she had with this Mother Boss, as she informs us all in the update, the story. Why the Mother Boss was so snappy. Okay, wow. I am so sorry for the delay. I got caught up in traffic and didn't want to be typing on my phone. So around 2:30 p.m. I got a text from the Mother Boss who yelled at me. Let me call her Heather. And she said that she wanted to call me. I told her I would have a free moment between 3 to 4 p.m. So 3 p.m. comes around and I get a text first. It is Heather, and she says this. "Hi, A. I want to start off by saying that I am so sorry for my inappropriate outburst this morning. You don't deserve that, and I don't deserve you. I wholeheartedly agree if you do not want to return. I will pay you for what you are owed, and the 4 weeks agreed upon when we signed our contract. I can call you in about 10 minutes to explain more." All I say is, I would have to think about staying on, but I am available for a call. And at about 3:20, I get a call. And this is where she tells me what happened this morning. Buckle up. Roughly paraphrased, she said that she found freaky, hardcore adult content on her husband's laptop. Her work laptop broke, and he said she could use his. More so, she saw a suspicious text from her own twin sister supplying some nudes. And his reply being, "I love that you look exactly like my wife except for your insert explicit name for a woman's private parts." And her sister saying something like, "And your manhood looks like my husband's." First thoughts, what an a-hole husband. He's a piece of schmidt. He doesn't deserve this woman. What a piece of work. Oh, I wouldn't pity this woman just yet. And then Heather drops the bomb on me that he found out about her snooping this morning, and he knows Heather's secret. Naturally, I was all, "Well, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to." And she said, "No, I will." And friends, any guesses? Any guesses before I tell you? Insert Jeopardy music. Heather's secret? Their daughter, the sweet 8-month-old girl, isn't even biologically Heather's husband's. And Heather's husband has known since Heather was pregnant because her twin sister let it slip about a one-night stand Heather had after a huge blowout with her husband. The twin knew she was pregnant before anyone else, but obviously thought it wasn't her place to tell anyone. But Heather thought the dude looked enough like her husband that he wouldn't notice. And Heather said, the reason why she snapped horrendously at me is because about an hour before she came out and saw me making the formula, her husband told her that he got her twin sister pregnant and Heather's sister and husband are filing for divorce. Heather said she got too overwhelmed and snapped at me because of the information given. Y'all! And then before she hung up, she said, "My husband also told me he has fantasized about you whilst making love, and he admitted that." And that's why she fired me so abruptly. Because while he was disgustingly also attracted to her twin, the adult content she found was all hardcore Asian stuff. And guess what I am? That's right, Asian! Anyway, I literally can't comprehend any of the information I got handed tonight. Sip your tea, friends, and Godspeed trying to sort through all of this. Skimming through some highlighted comments, some persons did ask various questions about the mum boss here and if she can actually be stable on her own with this divorce. Maybe she's scared that she's gonna have no money to support herself, but no, turns out she is a very wealthy person and will likely be using that money towards therapy at this point. But going through the top comments here, I guess this is one of those you never know what sort of day someone is having sort of scenarios. But I'd avoid this situation with a 10-foot pole, which I can definitely agree. I feel like this was some heavy trauma dumping that you kind of just be standing there on the phone like, oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Though some of y'all would love to actually work around this sort of drama because it's just so enticing. But I don't know, man. That's just too much for me. That's too stressful. I don't know about you, but I'd freak out. I'm a people pleaser. I wouldn't be comfortable there.
You most certainly did.
No, I didn't, dingbat. Listen! I said, Brooke, is your mother speaking for you? Do you
Moving over to relationship advice. How to rekindle our relationship with my husband after my neighbor's husband admitted to being the catfish. Hello everyone. My husband, 35 male, and I, a 30-year-old female, married for 8 years, have been separated for the last 14 months, and I need help and advice on how to rekindle our relationship. We are currently not on speaking terms, and all our arrangements go through our lawyers, but I will have an opportunity over Christmas to clear the air and set things straight, as he will be flying in from Sydney to spend time with the kids. So, what happened? I received a Facebook message in September last year that my husband was talking and exchanging naked photos with other women on Tinder. We spoke on the phone for a bit, and the only proof she had was a screenshot of their conversations and his profile. Long story short, I downloaded Tinder and found his profile, with his location less than 1 kilometer away. I was convinced that he was cheating, and we had a terrible fallout that evening, which led to my family coming over to calm the situation, but instead, it escalated when my brother punched and grabbed hold of my husband. The neighbors called the police, and my husband was asked to pack a few things and stay elsewhere for a while. We separated shortly after, and he has since moved to Sydney to be closer to his ailing father, but sees our kids for a weekend twice a month. Fast forward to the beginning of November this year, 2022. My neighbor rocked up at my doorstep to tell me that her husband was catfishing women on dating apps using my husband's photos. He downloaded these photos from a MacBook that we lent him during COVID, and some of these photos were of intimate nature and of me. The police are currently dealing with this. All of this has been relayed to my husband through his lawyer, but his response has been lukewarm, and he said we could talk about it over Christmas. I am so scared that we might be down too far the rabbit hole that he will likely push for a divorce, even though I know that we love each other deeply. But this took a massive toll on our mental health, finances, and well-being of our 3 kids. What is the best way to approach him in December and make amends? Some notable advice as don't love bomb him, just keep your space, let him come to you. Obviously apologize, but try not to be too dramatic about all of this. The last thing he needs to deal with is more drama. Other important things to point out though, that this isn't just a case of simply saying, oh whoops, sorry, because the husband's dealing with 1. A false accusation. 2. An assault from your brother. Have fun at family Christmas. 3. Spousal alienation. No right of recourse against the false accusation, a complete lack of loyalty from his wife, a complete lack of respect from his wife. Yeah, you get the gist. Just basically his entire life ruined. Not just a relationship to feel sad about, but his reputation. His friends and colleagues would likely have heard about this as well. Honestly, even if you got back together, I imagine he's just gonna be the husk of what he used to be. Now, that was 3 months ago, and we did get an update just in the last 2 weeks. So, on to the update. Hello everyone. I have had quite a few people ask for an update on what happened after we discovered that my neighbor was using my ex's photos to catfish other women. Unfortunately, after having sat down and discussed things, it was decided that our marriage was beyond repair and that we should go our separate ways, currently in therapy, and has requested that we have a clean break with no further contact in the future. I intend to respect his wishes and will continue to communicate through his lawyer on matters that concern our kids. I have since cleared the air with our families and friends and still actively work towards repairing his reputation. I would also like to clarify the assault and why my parents came over in the first place. The night of the argument, I called my mother to ask if I could drop off our kids and if they could spend the evening there, but she was concerned about my emotional state and asked that I stay put and they would come fetch the kids instead. They arrived, and my brother opted to stay outside while my parents came inside to grab the kids in their bags. At this point, my father asked to talk to my ex and calm the situation, celebration, and my mum dragged me away to get the kids and their bags ready. My brother was very confused when we came outside and was triggered by my mum saying that my ex may have cheated. My brother reacted the moment my ex walked out and grabbed my arm in a non-violent way, leading to the punch and scuffle on the front lawn. He was remorseful and apologized even before we found out my ex was not to blame. I'd say this is a great example where just because you have the bravado and pride to stand up to those who hurt those you love, you having the emotional control of a toddler doesn't help anyone in the long run. It is a series of unfortunate events that has changed many lives and robbed my family of our love and happiness. So now I have to focus on my kids, my depression, and coming to terms with the divorce. I will never forget, but hopefully the pain won't be as intense. Overall, yeah, sad ending. Very sorry for the guy here to have dealt with this. But of course, that said, I don't think anyone here should or even could blame the wife for what she did. I mean, she had all the evidence in front of her. I mean, even think about yourself. If you were in this situation and you maybe asked to see his phone and couldn't see the Tinder app on it at all, would you even trust that as sufficient evidence that it's not true? I just think it's rather hypocritical of all these people in the comments to be criticizing the mother here for what she's done. Like, you should have trusted him? Again, the evidence was all there. It really is fascinating to see these people wag their fingers in the distance. Over to another story with a recent update. My girlfriend, 25, of 4 years, and I, 24 male, both tested positive for chlamydia, and I don't know how to handle the situation. Basically, how to get away with cheating without admitting the full truth. Had to do a health checkup on my nether region recently, and part of it was to give a urine test for chlamydia. It came back positive. Of course, my girlfriend took a test as well. It also came back positive. We are both asymptomatic. Here's the thing, this shouldn't be possible. We are both each other's first intimate partner, even first kiss. We've been together for 4 years. I have never cheated, and I'm 99.99% sure she's never cheated either. For one, she's not socially active at all and extremely monogamous. I also can't imagine when she would have been able to cheat logistically, since we spend almost every waking hour together and have been for the last 4 years. None of us have ever used a second-hand toy. None of us has gotten a blood transfusion. Given the situation, it should be impossible for us to contract chlamydia, but somehow we did. Has anyone ever been in a similar situation? How did you handle it? Did you ever figure out how you contracted it? My man is grasping at straws, desperate to be assured that his partner isn't a cheater. Theoretically, it could be a case where she hasn't been purely honest, not so much in being faithful, but in the fact that he wasn't actually the first partner. Maybe she's had it this entire time and she didn't realize it. From the top comment though, Doctor here. Given the circumstances presented, you can pretty much only get it through sexual contact. One of you has strayed or contracted it before the relationship. For her, she really needs to see a gynecologist and be worked up carefully. If she has indeed had chlamydia for years, asymptomatic, she could have long-term issues from it going untreated, including infertility. This is pretty serious. Well, it was only 5 days later that we get an update, where the boyfriend finds out where it all began. Well, I now know how I got chlamydia. I got a lot more comments than I expected on my previous post, most of them saying I should snap out of the delusion, but also some alternative suggestions of how it might have happened. People suggested that she might have lied about me being her first. At first, I didn't think this could be it, as we are both very feminist and progressive generally, so it didn't feel like something she'd lie about. We are not religious either, but who knows? We had only known each other for about a year when we got together, and maybe she got freaked out. Some people also suggested she might not see oral as losing virginity, but we both do. The other possibility that seemed likely was that she had been assaulted and either doesn't remember or didn't want to tell me. Anyway, after work I stopped by a youth clinic and did a new test just to make sure, as someone suggested. When I got home, I spent the evening trying to figure out how best to ask her about these possibilities. I'm either suggesting she might have lied to me or possibly bringing up trauma, so I wanted to make sure I did it in the best way possible. But I won't have to worry about that anymore. Revealing here. Luckily, she hasn't been assaulted, and unfortunately, she didn't lie to me about being a virgin. The morning my last post, I was eating breakfast and watching YouTube on our shared iPad like I usually do. I remembered that the iPad is logged into her Snapchat account. Just to make sure, I checked. If she's cheating, surely Snap would be where she's talking to this guy, right? Didn't see any unfamiliar names. I did, however, see that she had an unread message from my best friend's girlfriend, 23 female. I don't know why, but I checked it. Gonna get tested today. At first, I thought that they had just discussed it. They are friends after all, and she had decided to get tested as well, but I scrolled up and saw the conversation they had yesterday, and well, I got cheated on. My girlfriend woke up 5 minutes later and immediately asked me what was wrong. She said I looked pale. I sincerely apologized. Going through her private messages is not okay after all, and told her what I had seen. She came clean immediately. My best friend's girlfriend had only ever been with men, and my girlfriend had only ever been with me. Apparently, they were both questioning if they were bi. So, while my best friend, male 24, and I were at the gym, they were hanging out at my best friend's place, like they usually do. Day, the curiosity got the best of them, and they slept together. This was last year, and she assures me it hasn't happened since, and won't happen again. I'm not really sure how I feel right now. I always imagined that if I got cheated on, I'd feel crushed, but I'm surprisingly neutral over it all. Because you're thinking with your willy, my man! Doesn't matter if she was curious about other ladies, she still cheated on you. If she had any respect for you, she would have still asked you first about this being okay or not. I don't know. My biggest worry right now is how I'm gonna tell my best friend about it. They've been together for almost 2 years, and his New Year's resolution this year was to propose to her. He's gonna be crushed, and I hate to think about it. We're going to the gym after work today, so I'll tell him then. Just need to figure out how. One question I got a lot, and I want to answer, is why I got tested in the first place if I was asymptomatic. The reason I was doing a checkup is kind of embarrassing, but I had noticed an unfamiliar lump on one of my members, and just wanted to make sure it wasn't cancer or something. When done with the checkup, the nurse told me everything seemed fine and then asked if I wanted to do a urine test for chlamydia. I don't know if it's standard procedure or not, but she just thought might as well do it. Logical top comment. As a bi woman, cheating is cheating. Bi here and have a life history of never cheating on my partners. Just because I'm not container driven doesn't mean I need to open every jar as they become available. And this comment is where we highlight the fact that this might be more of a trickle truth. So, silly questions. Your best friend and his girlfriend are in a monogamous relationship for 2 years and he plans to propose, so 90% he is not cheating. How did the girlfriend have clams and have gone undiagnosed for so long? It's been 1 year since the deed and all 4 people have clams without any symptoms. This, either best friend's girlfriend has been getting around or his girlfriend has. I'm questioning how being feminist and non-religious means you wouldn't lie. Another comment that points out the fact that it's actually difficult to get transmitted chlamydia through another woman unless they share a toy, so it is very much more likely that yes, my man's girlfriend has actually been cheating already. Yeah, I was looking for someone to point this out. My bet is her experimenting was with the couple, and the story she told was a sanitized version of the events. And man, if that's the case, it's going to be a very awkward confession to give to your best friend about, oh yeah, turns out your girlfriend's been getting with my girlfriend. I'm sorry to tell you that, man. And he's just going to be like, oh yeah, that's such a shame, man. Maybe it's just the way that OP's written this whole story, but everyone's coming to that conclusion now, though it might just be that habit of wanting to see how dramatic we can consider this entire scenario. Either way, what do you think? Do you think that all 3 of these people are in on it behind OP's back and just going to be laughing all the way to the bank when he thinks that it's just a case of curiosity? Let me know down below. Today I screwed up. That is a 2-for-1 deal. Today I screwed up by embarrassing my 21 male girlfriend, 21 female, in front of her classmates, including her lecturer. We were planning to spend a few days at my girlfriend's room at her college dorm. This was getting delayed because of some family issues. Some family members were sick, so my parents had to leave the country, and I had to stay with my sister for a few weeks. Fortunately, the family member managed to recover, and my parents decided to head back home. This weekend, is also close to Valentine's Day, so it was the perfect time for us to meet again. We buy the tickets, I pack my luggage. So far, so good. She had some practicals on her second day, and I definitely don't want her to miss it, so we agreed that she would attend the practicals while I was in her room working on my own projects. This will be important later. She left her keys in the flat in case I needed to get out of the building and asked me if I could open it as she was coming to the flat. Anyway, she leaves the keys and attends her first practical. Everything is fine. As she is coming back, she sends me the following messages. I am on my way. I will be there in 1 minute. Yes, she did misspell it. Back. I knew she meant she was heading to the back door of the dorm because that is closer to the main road. She arrives. I open the door for her. She comes back up and we get a little bit frisky. She has another practical in 1 hour. Luckily, I don't have much to do, but still, We can't have it on because there is not enough time. She teases me. I try my best to tease her, and we part our ways once again. I know her lecture/practical hours since we share our calendars. As soon as I got a notification that the lecture had ended, I messaged the following: backdoor sex. And lo and behold, the whole class, including the lecturer, was looking at her screen and reading my messages. Why? She had a unique problem on her computer, which caused the practical to extend for a few more minutes. So the lecturer decided that everyone in the class should look at her screen while they were solving the problem. After a few seconds of sending those messages, she became online and sent a message: stop! I got chills reading that. It was definitely not something I expected. When she arrived, she was very mad and told me not to sext her ever again, which made me quite sad. I didn't know what to do, but do remember that she told me she wanted a nice dinner before going away for her second practical, so I went into the kitchen and prepared a dinner for us. I tried cooking it, but burnt the food so bad the whole kitchen was foggy and smelled of burnt rice. She came out of her room because she smelled something was burning and ran to the kitchen just to find her boyfriend, who tried making his girlfriend happier by burning rice with sweet corn. I could see the double disappointment in her face. I just want to die. TLDR, being horny ruined things. Now, to be fair, okay, yeah, man, maybe you should have waited a bit more than just the moment the bell rang to let her know you're keen. But I do agree with this comment. She should have put her laptop into airplane mode or do not disturb or something like that. At least inform you that she's possibly gonna have to show her screen to the class at some point or is capable of doing that, because you literally have your partner within your vicinity who is keen on you. You're keen on them. You're planning to get pretty frisky together at some point. The fact she's shocked that you would, like, message her flirtatiously, come on. But like this comment says, hopefully they both realize this and we'll just be able to laugh about it in the next few days. I mean, if anything, knowing people around that age, they'd all just be high-fiving her more so than embarrassing her about the fact that, you know, she's got someone who's totally keen on her and loves her so much. Anyway, my friends, that will be where we end today's stories there. Thank you, as always, for watching. And remember, if someone ever gives you a bad time, maybe it's because they recently found out their partner is into hardcore Asian stuff and got cheated on by their twin. Also, drink water. Anyway, bye!